Take a look at this chip. Notice how the cheese stretches and holds, keeping the toppings firmly anchored to the base without breaking. If you've ever ordered nachos at a restaurant, you've likely encountered the exact opposite. You get a massive pile of chips where the top is soaked in toppings, leaving a barren, dry base underneath. The internet calls this the mountain of sadness. This failure happens because we tend to treat nachos as a random pile of ingredients. We throw things into a pan without applying the basic science of structural layering. Today, we are going to fix that. We are going to build a structurally sound plate of nachos from the ground up, ensuring every single bite has the correct ratio of ingredients. To get there, we need to stop viewing nachos as a casual snack and approach them as an engineering problem. The chip is your foundation, and the cheese is your mortar. Before we lay our first foundation, we have to talk about kitchen safety protocols. If we look back at traditional family guides, like this vintage recipe box, we see a history of instructions to keep kitchens safe. Handling raw ingredients always carries the risk of foodborne illness, even for quick meals like nachos. We usually think of rigorous temperature monitoring as something reserved for large holiday proteins, like this roasted turkey. But the FDA's guidelines dictate that we must cook our ground beef with that same exact precision. Color alone won't tell you it's safe. Internal temperature will. This starts with the clean protocol. Wash your hands with soap and warm water for 20 seconds, and sanitize every surface your raw meat and produce touch. A strong architectural build relies on a clean, safe environment before a chip hits the pan. With our prep station clean, we need to address the mortar holding our structure together, the cheese. Using bags of pre-shredded cheese is architectural sabotage. This animation shows why. Manufacturers coat those pre-shredded pieces in potato starch and cellulose. These anti-caking agents create a physical barrier between the cheese shreds, keeping them from melting and bonding together in the heat. To bypass this problem, grab a standard box grater and a block of high-moisture cheese, like sharp cheddar or Monterey Jack, and shred it yourself. Freshly grated strands have exposed, untreated edges. This maximizes the surface area contact against the chips when they melt. Putting in the manual labor of grating your own cheese ensures it melts into a cohesive, velvety mortar, instead of sitting on the chips as isolated, greasy clumps. Next is the protein. We brown our ground beef in a hot skillet to trigger the Maillard reaction, which develops a rich, savory crust on the meat. Once the beef is browned, we mix in our taco seasoning and water. This starts the reduction phase, where we simmer the mixture to evaporate the liquid and concentrate the spices into the meat. You want to avoid watery meat at all costs. Excess liquid will seep down into the corn chips and destroy their structural integrity. You'll know the beef is ready when the sauce coats the meat thickly. It should look moist and viscous, but leave absolutely no pools of water in the pan. By fully reducing the liquid, your protein acts as a low-moisture delivery system, keeping your chip foundation perfectly crisp. Now we assemble. Grab a wide sheet pan and lay down sturdy, thick corn chips in a single, slightly overlapping layer. Avoid thin chips. They will crack under the weight. This schematic illustrates the two-tier architecture. Step 1. Build the first layer with chips, half your seasoned beef, and half your grated cheese. Step 2. Repeat the exact process directly on top. This second layer guarantees 0 naked chips at the bottom of the pan. Transfer the pan into a 350-degree oven. Notice how the heat breaks down the individual cheese shreds, merging them into a bubbling, golden, continuous layer. Once the pan comes out, we enforce the hot-cold separation protocol. Keep your chilled, fresh toppings, like guacamole, sour cream, and pico de gallo, strictly out of the oven. Serving cold toppings on the side, or applying them right before eating, preserves the temperature and texture contrast that defines a premium nacho experience. Here is the final result: a wide, even spread of golden cheese, savory beef, and vibrant fresh garnishes. To verify our build, we perform a stress test. A hand lifts a fully loaded chip. It stays perfectly horizontal, supporting the weight without snapping. Once you master this baseline structure, you can swap the materials. Use a black bean base, or layer in shredded rotisserie chicken simmered in chipotle sauce. The next time you make nachos, approach the kitchen like a drafting table. Plan your layers, control your moisture, and grate your own cheese. You have now mastered the anatomy of the perfect nacho. Build with precision, serve with pride, and never accept a mountain of sadness again.